All right, 24 minutes before 11 o'clock. Nice looking Thursday. This morning, we were talking about something that's in the news this morning, which is a decision made by the superintendent of schools in Marion County to end all homework for elementary school children. And it doesn't end right there. What she is suggesting is that parents take it upon themselves each day after school at some point or another to spend 20 minutes reading to or with the children, depending on how old they are. Sometimes it's with, sometimes it's to. Sometimes when you're parents, when you are a parent, your children read to you after a while, right?
That's right.
So how cool would it be if you were to do the following? Go get a book that you're going to read to the children, right? And then go meet the author.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Or maybe do it in reverse order. Go meet the author, learn about the book, and then read the book together. Well, there's an opportunity tomorrow and Saturday to do that very thing. And Dianne Ochiltree, am I saying her name right, Robert? Ochiltree is on the phone. There she is. And she is a poet. She's a best-selling children's author, and she's coming to Ocala and the Villages. She'll be at the Marion County Public Library headquarters building tomorrow. And on Saturday, she'll be at the Barnes & Noble, not too far from where we broadcast, over at Heathbrook. You're going to love that place, by the way. And then at the Barnes & Noble down in the Villages also on Saturday afternoon. Good morning, Dianne Ochiltree. How are you?
Good morning. I'm wonderful. It's always great to visit with you and Robin.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Siesta Key.
Oh, okay.
Down south.
Okay, well, thank you for being on. And you have been with us before, haven't you?
I have. I've had the pleasure of speaking with your audience and with you.
Well, this is awesome. I think the decision by the superintendent of schools to end homework so that we could, as parents, spend more time reading to our children is going to make a difference in their lives and in their reading aptitude. I think just making reading fun and making reading important is going to change a lot of stuff. Plus, they get to meet you tomorrow or Saturday.
Oh, you know what? I get to meet them, too, which the reverse is true. When you write for children, it's wonderful when you can meet the grown-ups in their lives and the kids who read your books and the grown-ups who read your books. So I will be there tomorrow at 2 o'clock at the Marion County Public Library, and
the main branch.
I'm delighted.
Yeah.
The main headquarters.
At the main branch.
You have two books that you have on our list to talk about today. Molly by Golly. I want to ask you about that story because it's a true story, right?
It is. It's. I discovered Molly's story when I was doing research for another book on historic firefighting methods, and I discovered that she was actually the first female firefighter in America.
Wow. I don't know many children's books that tell a true story, other than like patriotic children's books, which in a way this is. I mean, you're celebrating somebody who made a difference in this world, right?
Yes, we are. That's what struck me. Not only was she unique because she was African American, she was a female, and she was the first female firefighter, but you know, she showed a lot of guts and volunteerism. When she was needed during a snow blizzard, when all of the, many of the men of the company, Fire Company Number 11 in New York City, were ill, and they needed to pull the equipment to a burning house. And she was the cook at the firehouse, and she just jumped in and said, I can help. I'm strong, and I can help get there. So it was an awesome story.
Oh, that is an amazing story, and it's something I had never heard before. It's so wonderful that you're bringing this to light. I'm wondering, when you are at the library or at the bookstores, the children who have read the book already, have you had this experience where children come up to you? Are they timid? Are they shy? Are they afraid to speak to you? Or are they like all over you, like you're the best friend?
It varies on the reader, the child, but most of them are very friendly, and I just love talking with them. And they often come up and share with me things that they have written, or or told me about other favorite books that they have, which is neat.
Yeah.
And this is a very historical perspective. It's a very great read for the children. It's easy for the children and their parents, but we also learn about new vocabulary, about the splatter dashes. I never knew what that was, and so I learned a new word.
Yes, I tried to put words like that in there, which those spatter dashes are, those are protective slip over covers, so that you didn't have a lot of boots or footwear in those days. So, and the streets were muddy. You had to protect, keep your feet clean. So there were other, I had to research cooking dishes like chicken roly-poly or hot apple tansy, hasty pudding. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. And also, I was very careful to do a lot of research on the historical firefighting methods.
The other book that we were sent is called It's a SeaShell Day, and this is just a delightful book. I can imagine a little child sitting next to her mom or her dad, and she's reading a book, and the adult, and the child is reading this one while you're sitting on the beach. I can just, and then you know what? Let's go take a walk and find some seashells. Just don't do it in the dry Tortugas. You're not allowed to take the shells off of the
No, you leave it there. One of the nice things that you do about children is you don't talk down to them. I just, it really bothers me when people say, oh, you use too many big words. You have to keep using little words for the children. And Larry and I both highly disagree with that.
I highly disagree with that as well. I think that if you construct a sentence with a strange word or an upper level word, perhaps, in the right way, kids can actually figure out what you mean.
Exactly.
We had a shell when I was a kid in the classroom, and we held it up to our ear, and we all heard the same thing. Car 54, where are you?
And
that was a unique shell.
And this must have been an education for yourself also, because as an historian, you had to delve into, like you were reiterating earlier, that you had to delve into the history of things, and that in itself is super interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say for both books, I did a lot of research, much more for the Molly by Golly book, but I also did a lot of scientific research and nature research for It's a SeaShell Day, and there are 10 selected facts about seashells at the back of the book. But also on my Facebook page for It's a SeaShell Day, we've been posting fun facts, crafts that you can do with seashells, and just pretty pictures of seashells.
So I want to tell you something. Robin and I went to the Barnes & Noble over at the Heathbrook, where you will be Saturday at 11. And there's a sign outside the door announcing that you will be there, a nice photograph of you and the books. Mm-hmm. And Robin said, oh, let me take a picture of this. And so Robin stopped to take a picture of your picture. Okay, now we go into the store, and the lady was kind of keeping an eye on us, and she says, "Is there something I can help you with?" And I said to Robin later on, I felt like I was 17 again and being accused of taking something.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess because we were taking photographs of things. I guess she thought we were up to no good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was exciting. Robin took a picture of your picture. How exciting is that for you to go to a bookstore and see, something well done, professionally done, waiting for you to join them so that you can meet your readers?
Oh, it's super exciting. It's one of those things that when you are writing a book, whether it's your first one that you hope to sell or down the road, that's what you're looking forward to. And it's the booksellers are great. They're so enthusiastic, and the people who come in, it's super fun. Yeah. I'm excited.
I love the photographs on your website from your different events, because it shows you reading to the children, and there are action shots, and I just think that really says a lot about you as a person, taking your time with the children.
Oh, thank you. I really do like to get on the floor with the kids, and I'd like to encourage them to ask, any question that they want to ask a person who is an author. and I get some of the most interesting questions. And I think the best one was, what's your bedtime?
Oh.
And I said 9 o'clock, and this kid said, wow, that's my bedtime too.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Let's see, you're doing author readings at both Barnes and Nobles here in Ocala and the one at Lake Sumter Market Square in the Villages. But for the public library, you're doing an interactive author presentation. What is that?
I will be doing a brief PowerPoint presentation where I show pictures of, it's kind of neat, the illustrator sent me files so I can show the kids how one of the double-page spreads in the book was built up from just a black and white sketch to the finished art, step by step.
Is that Molly by Golly? Is that Molly by Golly?
That would be Molly by Golly. Yes, ma'am. Molly by Golly is the book that we will be talking about at the Marion County Public Library main branch tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
At 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And so they're going to be asking me questions about all the research that we touched upon.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about, I went to the Fire Museum, and I have pictures of me doing some research, and a lot of the things that I researched, of course, ended up either in the words or the pictures.
It's speaking of the pictures, it's a very wonderfully illustrated, both of the books are wonderfully illustrated and so different. The two illustrators that you were teamed up with both did a great job, and it's two completely different flavors and appropriate flavors for the subject matter.
Oh, yes, I agree totally. Both Kathleen Kemley for Molly by Golly and Elliot Kreloff for It's a Seashell Day really, really captured visually the flavor of those stories.
When you were creating the book itself, when the when the illustrators gave you their illustrations for both books, how did you decide whether they were going to be double pages or as opposed to one different picture being on each page?
That was a really easy thing for me because I didn't have anything to do with that.
Oh, okay.
That's a good answer.
Wow.
The editors and the art directors at the publishers work directly with the artists, and I just get to see things and be delighted.
You dedicated that book, the Molly by Golly book, to the strong, brave women in your life. Is there anybody in particular that you can tell us about?
I can tell you about my Aunt Norma, and she was the first female EMT in Warren, Ohio, which is where I grew up.
Wow.
Yes. And I would say that my grandmother raised 3 very strong daughters, and she encouraged all of us, her granddaughters, to be independent, strong, and also, community helpers. We were encouraged to do community things.
Wow.
Help your neighbors.
I think you're going to impress on the children. I mean, it's a great story, but there's a great message and an underlying message at the same time. And they'll be learning about somebody who is, you are going to be very impressed. The children are going to be very impressed with what you do, probably to the point where they will want to emulate you. Do you have children that say, I want to write books? Do you have that happen?
I do have that happen, and of course, that tickles me, and I encourage them to be a writer if they want. And I encourage everybody to be a reader, no matter what you want to do with your life, because being a good reader is going to help you to achieve your dreams, whatever that is.
And that goes along with what we have this news story just today. When you get to town tomorrow, it's going to be still a brand new story, and it's an important issue right now. And I think you're giving us some. Some fuel to get excited about this whole idea that we as parents, and then my son's 31, I won't be reading to him anytime soon.
Maybe grandchildren.
That could be one day, Robin. We'll see. I don't know. But anyway,
Don't
I
give
just
up.
thought it was amazing. And I never knew about the Oceanus 11. I never knew about that, by the way.
Well, they were they were a company in Brooklyn, and let me see, I'm looking on my shelf. They are first mentioned in our Firemen, the official history of the Brooklyn Fire Department, from the first volunteer to the latest appointee, which was published in 1892.
Wow.
So that was one of the major sources that I tapped into for details of Molly's story.
One of the you should have your book Molly by Golly in one of the firefighters museums.
Molly by Golly is carried in some of the firefighting museums, particularly the one in New York City. The director of the New York City Fire Museum, as well as the director of the Aurora Regional Fire Museum, which is outside of Chicago, did fact-checking and approvals on all of my text, as well as the pictures.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty cool. So Molly really wore wooden shoes?
She wore...
It looked like it in the book.
No, those were very rough leather boots.
Oh, okay.
They're just very chunky. I think that's it.
Yeah.
One of the myths that you're dispelling with your writing, because you are so successful, we hear a lot of the publishers saying, we don't want rhyming books for children. We want just prose. Well, you do such a great job. They're both different books, and your It's a SeaShell Day is a rhyming book.
And I will tell you, as I tell most people when I do writing workshops, we talk about this, and I write all of my books in prose first, and then I cast it into stanzas.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I do that is because that way I know I have a story.
Mm-hmm. And one of the other things about It's a SeaShell Day is that it's not just about a little boy picking up shells on the beach and taking it home. I mean, sometimes the shell is an animal living in it, and then his mom says, no, you can't have this. You have to put it back to the sea.
That's right, because it's a Firefly Night, which was the book that came before this. Mm-hmm. It seemed very important for children to realize that nature has to be protected.
That's the...
And I think Larry was saying that you don't pick up things on the beach. You did already mention that we don't pick up things on the beach that are still living.
Well, in the dry tortugas, you're not allowed to pick up anything, period. But in let's see, where was I? In the Keys, when you go snorkeling, the rules say you can keep a shell if there's nothing living in it. But if you pick up a shell and you notice there's something living in it, you got to put it back down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, if you go to the Atlantic coast right now to Daytona, my mom and her friend went there on Tuesday, and they've got really baby jellyfish that are like coming in from everywhere, and they don't have the tentacles on there and stuff. So she said it was really weird swimming in the ocean with them.
Oh, I bet it was. I bet it was beautiful.
Yeah, she said it was pretty.
Are you near the water where you live? Where do you live again? What is it called?
Well, I live on Siesta Key outside of Sarasota, and we do live on the water. We live on low water. We live on a bayou. So we have a kayak and stand-up paddleboard, but no motorized anything.
Do you like the paddleboard?
I love stand-up paddleboard. I do.
Once again, just to repeat, if you would like to meet our guest, she will be in Ocala tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow at the Marion County Public Library in the headquarters building right there on Silver Springs Boulevard. Dianne Ochiltree will be there.
That's at 2 o'clock.
It's at 2 o'clock. And
go ahead.
And that's the main branch. Yeah.
Very good. And the book you talk about is Molly by Golly. The SeaShell Day is just another book that we were sent. Is that right?
Yes.
SeaShell Day is going to be the focus of my talk and presentation on Saturday at the Barnes & Noble Market Street.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
All right, so we can go to two of them. So it's not the same presentation.
No, no.
Are you
there's
reading?
two different talks.
Are you reading the books out loud to the children?
Yes, I will be.
Oh, see, so you're right in line with what the superintendent wants us to do. read to the children. Read to the children. Well, that's awesome. The Barnes and Noble has a wonderful stage area for you to sit in, and I'm sure the library does too.
Yeah.
It's just such a delightful little. Plus, they've got good coffee. I don't know.
Yes.
I really like that. The thing for one of the things for your history was that you had to write a script for a talking roll of carpet.
Yes, I did, and that was very good practice into getting into the head of your character.
Dianne, are you driving up tomorrow? Yeah, I'm sure you're driving, right?
I am driving. I'm driving up tomorrow.
All right. Well, be careful driving, and we look forward to meeting you. Thank you for coming on the air with us today. Let's give people instructions so they can go buy the books. I know they're at Barnes & Noble. I've seen them there. But do you have a website we can go to?
I do. I have a website, DianneOchiltree.com, which is DianneOchiltree.com. And we have an events page that lists all of the Ocala area events, and people can check that out.
Okay.
And also connect with me on Facebook.
All right, I'm doing that right now. I'm looking for you. I just found your website, and I will go to your Facebook page and connect with you on there. Oh, there it is. Okay, excellent. Dianne, thank you again for being on the air with us. Please be careful coming up, and enjoy your visit to Ocala.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you again.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, we're up against the break. Let's take that break. We'll be right back.
Okay.